So my message really is see the opportunity, educate yourself, honestly open up and go out of your comfort zone and see what is out there for you. So I missed that opportunity, but I'm still grateful and I'm still thankful that, I took that opportunity and I quit my job and, I started working full time for my client.
You're listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with your host, Michael Palmer. Listen each week as inspiring guests share their secrets of success to help you increase your confidence, work smarter, and build a business you love. This episode of The Successful Bookkeeper is brought to you by PureBookkeeping.com, the proven system to grow your bookkeeping business.
Welcome back to the Successful Bookkeeper Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Palmer, and today's show is going to be a good one. Our guest is the owner of the accounting training firm, Accounting by Sal, and she is passionate about teaching business owners how to effectively manage their finances. Sal Rezai, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike, for having me.
It's great to have you. And I'm excited about this episode because I think your story is in some way unique. And before we get into all of that good stuff, I'd love for you to share with our audience about you and your career journey leading up to this point.
Thank you for having me, Michael. First of all, I started my accounting bookkeeping firm back in 2008. So I just started it with filing personal tax and honestly doing bookkeeping for contractors and subcontractors while I still had my corporate job with Bank of Montreal. So I was just doing this part-time, and then that's when exactly it started it. So my personal tax clients, they were approaching me. They were saying, you know what, we have our family friends. They have businesses. Are you interested to do, their bookkeeping? And having said that, they were always sharing with me that, they're not having really good experience with their current accountant firms, not sharing a lot about their books and their numbers and educating them. So that's when, honestly, I started. I was like, you know what? Yes, I do have passion for teaching you. So let's take your business and work on it. So then until 2012, I really didn't go full time to my business. I just, I still love my corporate job. I still continue it, but while I'm still working for my, doing taxes and doing bookkeeping for self-employed and contractors. So in 2012, when QuickBooks Online came first, that's when I started it actually training small business owners, the actual QuickBooks Online software, but also more of their finances, their numbers. And then in 2015, I went full time. I was like, you know what, I'm going to quit my job. This is not for me anymore. I'm going to, focus on my firm. And then I kind of redesigned my vision, mission, and the actual workflow of my business, really focusing on educating and providing value to my clients behind their numbers. Because one of the challenges I was always facing, my clients were coming in, they're like, you know what, I got this binder from my accountant. We don't know what's in there. So can you educate us? Can you tell us about this? So that's when I was stepping in and, providing value and really making sure that they really understand the numbers behind those reports and what's that binder all about. So I started my firm in Alberta, in Edmonton, Alberta in 2008, and then I moved a few times between Ontario and Alberta. So honestly, I'm on the cloud right now.
Wow. It's such an interesting journey. And I'm curious, when you decided to quit your job, what was that? I've spoken with so many, and I know there's a lot of listeners out there right now that may be considering quitting their job. And it's never an easy thing. Well, maybe for some it's an easy thing, but it's a big decision. What was that like for you?
I think for me, it was more of the opportunity that I saw. It was a lot of opportunity for me there. Like, I mean, my clients, they were coming into me, they were asking me to help them, to educate them, to teach them. But it was me lacking that, had that fear. But so my message really is see the opportunity, like, educate yourself, honestly open up and go out of your comfort zone and see what is out there for you. So I missed that opportunity, but I mean, I'm still grateful and I'm still thankful that, I took that opportunity and I quit my job and, I started working full time for my client.
Yeah. And what were some of the things you did to prepare yourself for that? I guess building up the business and making sure you had enough clients to take care of what you needed to take care of. Were there other things that you did to make sure you were ready?
I think the biggest thing for me is I honestly spent some time and really started it with a strong base. So you really need to focus on your foundation. It's like, building up a house. If the foundation is not really strong, that house might fall anytime or just crack. So your foundation is the most important thing. So when you're thinking to quit your job and really take the next opportunity, honestly, just spend some time, do some research, and build up some strong foundation for yourself before you actually step in and start take the opportunity.
Wonderful advice. And you mentioned your vision and mission. Talk a little bit about what your vision was and your mission and how you came about actually creating that.
So I think for me, I really wanted to have a vision to, honestly educate, empower, and provide value, a true value to business owners. So when I was filing taxes, personal taxes, and just, doing bookkeeping for contractors, a lot of my clients, like as I mentioned, they were coming into me with a binder, and they were honestly in a dark age. They were saying, what, I got a CRA audit, and my accountant is saying, just forward me that letter, CRA letter, and I'll take care of that. But we don't know what's going on, and they're charging us this much. I'm like, what? No, okay, let's go through this binder. Let's really, open up and read the CRA letter for you and see what's happening, right? So that's when, when I actually sat down with my clients, I educated them, I empowered them, and I provided the value, right? When they actually got that true value from me, then that's when that's how I came up actually with my mission and vision, saying, okay, I have the passion for this because I'm making a difference into people's lives, and I'm actually helping them grow their business. And instead of just, doing it in a dark age where, I have to say, okay, bring it into my office and I'll just take care of it for you.
I love that. And how has that resonated with your clients?
I think that honestly, the clients that are really understanding, the value, they're coming back to me and they've actually provided me really good feedback saying, what, yes, it actually improved us because we really wanted to understand what's going on, why we're getting audit, why CRA is asking for certain things, why, and with my business clients, it's not just, hiring somebody and putting in the office and the desk and saying, what, okay, can you take care of this task? But for them really hiring somebody and really understanding what he or she is doing it for the business, right? What difference he or she is making, that body is making to the business. So that's one thing it really resonates with my clients.
I love it. And, you mentioned coaching, you mentioned training. Those two things, in a way, are they're value added things from beyond bookkeeping or filing taxes or doing the accounting work. What are some of the impacts that you've had on your clients? I always love hearing. So the work that you do, you've mentioned it, the work that you do is very important. You're helping small business owners not just get it done, but actually learn how to do it better, how to understand it more so that they can make better decisions in their business, which is critical. That whole concept of, you could give them some fish or you could teach them how to fish.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so what has that been like for your clients?
I think one of the biggest impact for my clients is there's two areas that I've always focused. One of the area that I'm really into it is the cash flow because I'm more focused on the small business owners and startups. So one of the things I've always learned is as a startup or as a business owner, as a small business owner, they have always struggled with cash flow, right? And not necessarily because they don't have enough cash. It's just because I think they're not really there to manage their cash flow well. So a lot of them, they're in a thinking saying, you know what, well, I have to get more clients to get more cash. But that's not the point. The point is manage your cash with your existing clients well, and then that should be enough. The aim is not for you to go there or panic, say, okay, you know what, I don't have enough clients, that's why I do not have enough cash. But the aim is I guess they really need to be educated saying, okay, I need to manage just 5 clients that I have right now. They're paying me $5,000 a month. I need to manage $5,000 well, not to run out of the cash at the end of the month. It's about that. I guess again, I'm keep coming back to that. Provide value, empower your clients, and work with them. And instead of just keep going towards more clients and really focusing, saying, okay, you know what, if I don't have new clients, then I do not have cash. So that's one thing I think. And then the second part of this is the bookkeeping itself. I mean, a lot of business owners, they're in an understanding saying, you know what, well, I need to categorize this item properly. But it's not about the categorization or generalizing that item. It's more of understanding the actual numbers behind that expense, behind that figures. Why is that expense happening? How does it impact my reports? And if I continue this expense, what's going to happen? How would my reports look like? So I think it's more of the cash flow impact that I would say that, it helps my client in terms of the training and the teaching part.
I love it. And I think it's so valuable. I'm really curious to know if there have been clients that haven't been receptive to that, or, because it's one of those things where people are in the situation, not only just because they don't have an understanding, there can be just the behavior and characteristics of a person that may not want to do it that way. How has that been from working with clients and their uptake or ability to actually do the things that you're helping them with?
I think I would say it's most of the accounting firm that should actually open up and be the forward-thinking firm, or just be the person, the real support person for their customer. Yes, the customers are living in a dark age. I still a lot of clients are approaching me, and when I go to networking, I talk to them. They're like, you know what, well, no, we're going to stick the way we are. We're happy, right? Just because they're too afraid of change, or they're just too afraid to get out of their comfort zone and really talk to somebody else. But I think I would say it's more of the firms or the accounting firms, the bookkeeping firms. They should really, think forward. They should really open up with their clients and, start educating them and get rid of, try to get rid of that dark age or that binders. That binders is just bothering them. Like, okay, why would you just give your client that binder and saying, you know what, I've done the job for you?
That's right. Take it beyond. And really, that's the opportunity, is to empower business owners around their finances. So it's not just getting the job done, but it's actually the continual day-to-day job. And you really mentioned what I believe is the sweet spot, which is what's going to happen tomorrow to your cash. Where are you going to be tomorrow? How can you improve today so that tomorrow's outcome is better? And that's super valuable work that you're doing. Now, we spoke a little bit about your website before the call. And I really am curious to hear the journey of you building your current website and what that looked like. If you could share that with our listeners, that would be great.
I think what I've done is I've honestly spent some time researching on internet and going back and forth in Google. And honestly, I do have some, cloud firms out there, some of them, my favorite people that are out there, and I look at them as a mentor. I just, not that directly I work with them or anything. I just see them as an example why they're successful, what they're doing that works for them. So I do a lot of research, honestly. So, and then going back and forth, I just, I was sitting down with my website designer, and I really, I guess, spent time with her and saying, what's my goal? What do I want to achieve at the end of, the day? I want people to see certain things on my website, not to say, yes, I'm an accounting firm. I'm just providing an accounting training. Yes, I'm a seasonal, a CPA sitting in here. I guess the message I wanted to really deliver on my website is I'm a firm, I'm available, I provide values. I'm not asking you to sign up for QuickBooks Online or to sign up for any of other cloud technology and just get it done. Like really, come to me, I'll teach you. Just you're out there alone. Just the message I wanted to really deliver is that, you know what, yeah, you visited my website, you know what I'm doing, let's work together. And I'm here to support. I mean, one of my surveys, it's clearly mentioned that, you know, I'm providing the continuous support, the monthly support. And that's what exactly my clients are, you know, coming for back to me.
Wonderful. And do you notice any difference between what business was like and your experience of dealing with prospects prior to this website versus after having this website?
I think I had an older website prior to 2012. It was just built up on WordPress, and it was just a brochure, like sitting up there. Like, you know, you go to a lot of events and stuff. People are giving you out the brochures, and you're not really doing anything with it. I mean, at the end of the events, you just you know, throw them in the recycle, or I mean, maybe many, like, you know, 1% of people would just take a look at that brochure. But I would have felt the same thing with my old website. So having the new version of my website the modern way is I feel more comfortable and confident that, you know what, when people visit my website, they see that confidence on me. They see that, you know, I'm there to change their finances, the way they look at their cash flow and other aspects of their business.
That's interesting. I like that angle. So you actually feel more confident when you meet new people because you know you have this website, this great website behind you, really, after an introduction or a connection, that's you're leading them back to this wonderful asset that you've built in your business.
Exactly. Yes. And I think the other thing, Michael, is when I built my website, one of the things I mentioned to my web designer is I asked her, I said, you know what, I really want this website to, you know, be one, like, you know, a kind of an eye care desk for me. Like, you know, people just go in there and say, okay, you know what, this is a desk that I can, you know, that my needs are taken care. That if I approach this individual, you know, she's going to help me, or this individual behind this website will, you know, get back to me. So I call it I care because it's like, you know, you go there and your needs are taken care, right? So, and that's what exactly she did.
You absolutely are accurate with that. And I do a lot of evaluation of websites, and I constantly am looking at it from a marketing perspective and a communications perspective. And that's what really struck me about your website. It's hitting a lot of the notes in terms of being very, very clear. I've talked about Donald Miller often. Donald Miller has a company called Story Brand, and he's got the 3-second grunt test, which means when you go to that website, do you know what the person does in 3 seconds? And yours passes the 3-second grunt test, and very few do, actually. So, you know, it's like, what is it that you do? How do you help people, and how can they get started, or how can they buy from you? And your website answers all of that. So I think you've gone and looked at all of these role models, and then you came back and you worked with a really great web designer and builder, absolutely, to bring your vision to life. And now you have a powerful tool in your business. So I think it's a model that our listeners should take a look at and learn from, just as you've learned from others.
Awesome. To be honest, it's an asset for me. I consider that an asset.
Yes, it is an asset. It's a beautiful asset. And so you could build an asset that doesn't produce returns, right? You could build a liability, right? For the website, exactly. Many do, but you've built and invested in an asset, really, because it's going to keep on giving. And you did the hard work, and it'll keep on giving. So well done on that. And, you know, really, I think it's one of the best I've seen. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Now, how can, you know, this idea of helping and coaching and training and mentoring clients, how can our listener do, if they're not doing that kind of work, what's the pathway, in your opinion, to actually doing more of that in their practice?
I think one of the pathway I took is my clients are, so I mean, when clients are first approaching me, they're like, you know what, can you teach me QuickBooks online? I'm like, you know, I've just signed up for this software and I don't know how to use it. I don't know what to do, but I don't have the budget to outsource or hire anybody, but I just wanted to learn myself in doing it. So honestly, I mean, that's one of my tip in marketing as well, is if you're a bookkeeping firm or an accounting firm, you're struggling with your marketing, And to be honest, that's exactly one way I've built up my clientele. Is like, go ahead, teach your clients, provide value, do the training. Any software, doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be QuickBooks Online. It has to be anything that you're certified, that you have, the skills that, you're willing to teach. So for me, it was, QuickBooks Online, because that's what I have my Advanced Pro Advisor certifications, and I've been using that for a while. So I see my expertise on that software. So the way, clients are approaching me, and exactly as I said, they're coming into me, they're saying, okay, can you teach me the software? So I honestly spend with them a few hours. Right after that few hours, and then I noticed that, I've learned that they're questioning me a lot of accounting and bookkeeping questions. They're like, oh, why do I pay myself, dividend versus being, an employee of my company? Or how would I, manage the owner's contribution? So honestly, it's a lot of, I call it Accounting 101 course at my end. So when somebody calls in and says, okay, can you teach me the QuickBooks? I'm like, you know what? It's not about the actual software. I mean, using the actual software is so easy, but honestly, it's more of really understanding the concept of accounting, right? The basic concept for you in order to handle your own accounting and bookkeeping. So I teach them the Accounting 101. And again, that's exactly what I call, because it's the basic knowledge, and the actual software too. So if you're a firm, again, if you want to build up your business, your clientele, honestly, that's the best way to go for. Is teach your clients, provide the value, do all the basics, and then once they like you, once they see you, how you're doing, and you are actually there for them to help them, then they're going to come back to you. So a lot of my clients, even though they came in at my first call saying, just teach us what we want to do ourselves. But to be honest, at the end of the day, they still come back to me. They're like, can you do this for us? We're not you're doing a good job. We really like you. And why didn't you do this accounting and bookkeeping for us? We're not going to do it. So this is how I've built up my firm.
Wow. It's great, and such a great service. You have a lot of testimonials on your website as well, which is another great. I mean, and the way you present them is really clean and really fantastic. I think it's worth people taking a look at how you've presented them as well. I'd love to hear some of the stories, the actual stories of clients that you've helped transform their business. Where you're, the ones that you're most proud of.
Yes. So I'm actually working with one of the co-working space here in Edmonton right now. It's a new co-working space. They've been in business for about 6-7 months now. So what I did is they had a free co-working day, and I just went there to, kind of network and co-work there at their space. So I really liked the environment. And then the next day I went back, and then so the owner, she came to me and she's like, oh, I was like, okay, I wanted to pay for my, because I'm going to work from your space today. So she asked me for my business card, and then I guess in a matter of 5 minutes, she came back to me and she's like, oh, you're doing QuickBooks training and accounting. And I said, yes. She's like, you know what, we're having a really tough time. Can you help us? So we booked an appointment, and I went to train her. I think her mom was helping her with her accounting and bookkeeping. So the mom was saying, she spent 15 hours with QuickBooks support, and she wasn't able to, achieve what she wanted to do with a lot of transactions being duplicated, and the agent were asking her, to exclude the transactions. And so there was a mess. So it's a big mess in her QuickBooks. And then so just sitting with her mom for 3 hours, I cleaned up the 2 months of worth of, the bookkeeping and accounting, and clearing all the transactions that should be posted correctly, being a corporate business. So they were amazed. So they just, she hired me on the spot, and I've been working for them since January 2019. They're very happy. In fact, she just posted her review yesterday in Google and Facebook. I was just amazed, and she actually considers me the future of her business. I mean, part of her team. I can help them, make them, basically, I'm their just, part of their business right now. And that, honestly, that just amazes me. That I'm really grateful the work I do and the impact I'm making. I do work hard, but that pays back. So that's one of the story I can share. And the other story is this is a U.S. client, actually. So not to forget, I actually work international as well. So I do work with clients in U.S. and U.K.
Wow.
So one of my clients in US, she approached me a few months ago, and she was like, you know what? I did my own bookkeeping, and I went to H&R Block, and I just filed my taxes, but now I owe the IRS like $800, and I don't agree with this. And wherever, she couldn't find any firm in US that could help her figure out why she owes that $800 and things like that. So we access her QuickBooks. I use Zoom communication to connect with my clients. So we spend about 6 hours on the first session, and then we booked again another session for another 6 hours. So honestly, on that 6 hours, we cleaned her entire book. There was a big mess on her opening balances. So the previous accountant never actually entered the opening balances from the previous tax years. So we also found out that's why she owed that $800. So honestly, she was right. Like after that 12 hours of training and working with her together, she wanted to hire me. But what happened is she couldn't hire me just because she didn't have the budget to hire me. But so it has been 3 months that we worked that 12 hours. And after that 12 hours, so every month she signs up for an hour or 2 hours, and we work together. Still, we go through her book. So she pays me hourly to help her, but not like, she's not willing. She doesn't have that budget to hire me on a monthly basis. So it's like, saying, can you just do this for me? So for that reason, so that was my first U.S. client, actually. So now I'm working with 3 U.S. clients, including her, and a U.K. client, and also actually an Australian client. He's using QuickBooks Desktop. I'm still willing to help him with QuickBooks Desktop. It's just that I'm not using QuickBooks Desktop on a regular basis because my firm is on the cloud. So this client is an international distributor. But what happened is with him, the challenge he had is, again, his bookkeeper was working, but not really, telling him or kind of communicating with him, saying, this is how the accountant, like the task is being taken care. So again, dark age. So, he was living in a dark age. So when we met first time through Zoom for 3 hours, he was really happy that, he found me. First, he thought I was in Australia. He's like, oh, I'm glad, she's going to meet me there. But then once I sent it the Zoom link, we actually booked the training. That's when he realized that I'm not local. But it's like, I'm going to just work with you because he was able to work from his home.
That's beautiful.
So those are some of the stories, yeah.
They're great stories. And, it's just sitting here, it's like there's so many messy, dirty books out there and small business. You could just imagine. We're just chatting here, and it's like, it's abundant. I mean, it has me think like bookkeepers are like tied for business financials. I mean, go in there, get it clean. And when you do, it creates a whole new future for a business owner. And I love the line, considers you to be the future of her business. I mean, you are the future. That's what you are, listener. You are the future. You are a part of their future. When you do the work, the good work, you are the part of their future. And that is I just love that. Now, I have a question. You gave your business card out, and that woman said, she came back 5 minutes later and said, hey, let's have a conversation. What does your business card say?
So my business card has my own picture, and then it says that, so it lists some of my services, really the highlights what I offer, and then it has my logo and my Sloganito accounting training firm, and then the areas that I'm offering services. Honestly, that's it. Mm-hmm. But I think that connection that we had, the first connection, because what happened is on the first free co-working day when I visited her. As soon as I enter her co-working space, she looked at me and I was like, you know what? I know you from somewhere. So she was actually one of the CBC reporter. And so she's like, well, you saw me probably on TV. I'm like, I think so. But that face-to-face connection, that eye contact we made at that time, I guess it's like, that first impression you make to your clients, right? And then that connection, we built it there. And then she would keep coming to me. She was asking if I'm okay, if I needed anything. And then even the second day when I went to co-work again, she came into me right away. And I went to her and I was like, I'm willing to pay you. Like, how much do I owe you for today? And that's when she asked for my business card. And honestly, in my business card, again, it's just my picture and some of my services in a very high level.
Lovely. Lovely. Well, I love that. And I think, it just speaks to there's a lot there actually. You work in in the new world, technology, Zoom, QuickBooks Online, all of the apps. You work in Edmonton, you have clients all over the world. You're living the new reality, the new workplace, right? Which is everywhere. But yet, you get out into the local community and you meet people live as well. And I love that story. There's always opportunity wherever you go. And I think it's a great message for our listener. When you go out, when you're doing things, when you're looking to connect, when you're looking to spread the word of your business, it's always on. It's always there. We have to go to the grocery store. We have to go get the chiropractic or massage therapy. Wherever you're doing in your life, there's opportunity out there. And now you really demonstrated a great example of that. And I just love the statement that she gave you. And great having your picture on your business card. It differentiates you. It has them put the name to the face, which is difficult sometimes for people. So well done on that. Sal, this has been an absolute joy, and thank you so much for sharing everything that you've shared. If you'd like to share anything about where our listener can get more information or learn more about you or connect with you, please let our listener know.
Yeah, for sure. So if anybody wants to get hold of me, honestly, just visit my website or just, email me. My email address is info@accountingbysal.ca, or you can even call me through my website contact page.
Absolutely. And you can't miss the website. The business name is Accounting by Sal, and that's SAL, and that's the name of the website, Accounting by Sal. BY is by sal.ca. So we'll have the links in the show as well. And I recommend you check out Sal's website because she crushed it. She really did a wonderful job and great research. But then as well, you hired pros, just like you're a pro for your business owners. You went and hired a pro to help you with your marketing and with your website. So well done. Sal, I have a sneaking suspicion we're going to have you back on the show because I know your journey is constantly evolving and you really are up to some cool things. So thank you so much. Awesome. On behalf of all of our listeners, thank you for your generosity and being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, wonderful. And with that, we wrap another episode of the Successful Bookkeeper podcast. To learn more about today's wonderful and generous guest and to get access to all sorts of free business building resources, you can go to thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Until next time, goodbye.
You've been listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with Michael Palmer. For more information and to download the resources mentioned in this episode, please visit us at thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Thank you for listening.